Land, the precious resource on which our homes are built, is getting more and more precious by the day in this country. It's a simple case of maths. We have 1.2 billion people, or 17% of the world's population, living on less than 2.5% of the world's land. Overcrowded roads, streets, markets in urban India have become a well-accepted way of life, and everyone knows it's only going to get worse. Today on the Realty Debate, we are raising the question, how will developers get land for creating homes? With 50% of India's population under the age of 25, the demand will get only louder in years to come. My panel today, M.R. Jaishankar, Chairman and Managing Director, Brigade Group; Lalit Kumar Jain, CMD, Kumar Urban Development Limited and Chairman, CREDAI; Shailesh Puranik, MD, Puranik Builders and President, Thane MCHI; Samarjeet Singh, MD, India Homes; Mayank Saxena, Managing Director, Land Services, JLL India; Pankaj Bajaj, MD, Eldeco Infrastructure and Properties Limited; and Sameer Jasuja, Founder and CEO of PropEquity. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining me. I'm going to take you through India's land challenge. I think for everybody who's watching the show, to just take them through the perspective of what's going on. These are the highlights from the Draft National Land Utilization Policy of 2013, which tells us why land makes for such a compelling discussion. Now look at this. India, as I said at the top of the rundown, has over 17% of the world's population living on 2.4% of the world's geographical area. The stupendous growth of India's population has made things quite challenging. The per capita or per person availability of land has reduced from 0.89 hectare in 1995 to just 0.27 hectare in 2007-8. By 2030, India will become the most populated country on the earth, with 17.9% of the world's total population, overtaking China. With this, the per capita land availability will reduce further. Most of the population density, which is compounding the problem, is concentrated in India's urban cities, but the urban areas are just about 2.35% of the total land in India. The level of urbanization, look at these figures, astounding, has increased from 17% in 1951 to 31% in 2011. Well, I'm not going to read out any more figures because I think the point is well taken and well established. So the first question, I think, goes to Mr. Jaishankar. Mr. Jaishankar, in your annual report, you have said that land is becoming a challenge for your business, isn't it? Now, is this so for most developers across the country?
I would say in the country itself, availability of land with right titles is always a matter of concern. In cities like Bangalore, there is no shortage of land as such. The question is whether the land that is available is financially feasible to take up a project, and whether it is legally with clear title without any issue, so that a developed property can be title of a developed property can be passed on to the ultimate buyer.
Mr. Jain, would you agree with that, that land, I mean, whatever these figures might be saying, is not the issue? The issues are whether the land has clear title and whether it's financially viable. Or would you say for a city like Mumbai, land is the biggest challenge?
Well, I would put it differently. See, currently in India, the FAR level, that is buildability on a given plot, is minimal. So there has been global researches and which talk of utilizing land potential to higher degree. In fact, various research says that FAR below 5 is not recommended in metro cities, and it also says that FAR below 2 is a crime, because the infrastructure cost is not reduced pro rata basis, but if you enhance existing infrastructure, it costs 1/3, and if you want a new infrastructure, it costs thrice. So you are talking of 9 times difference. Point is, in our country, FAR is a taboo. In any city, if you talk of FAR, then it's a political controversy. Whereas we have to understand that we have to use our land potential in a better fashion, because there is a resource crunch in terms of providing infrastructure. Therefore, we have to think differently, and though your figure may look really different when you say 2.7% of land occupying 70% of population, but this is the case in any metro or large city or a country with such large urbanization.
All right, point
So
taken,
we
sir. So
should
you're
talk of
saying,
reform.
you're saying that FAR is the big issue. I mean, there is no urban city, or globally at least, FAR norms in urban cities are more than 5. Okay, so now I've come to 3 points, and I think Pankaj, you're waiting by, so let me get a Delhi developer's perspective as well. Land definitely seems to be far more abundant in the NCR area than, let's say, a Mumbai. So 3 points. One, clear titles is a big problem. That's what Mr. Jaishankar is saying. He's saying there's abundant land in Bangalore. He's also saying that financially viable land is a difficult proposition. So you may get land, but in far-flung areas or which are not financially viable. And third, what makes land in urban cities far more complicated is the fact that your FSI or FAR is very limited, which needs to probably go up to closer to a 2-digit number than low single-digit number. Would you agree that this kind of captures all that's wrong with our land availability?
More or less.
Or is there's more?
There is one more aspect that Lalit and Jaishankar have not touched upon, is the density. FAR is one part, other is density. If we talk about Delhi per se, if you read the latest master plan, so they are talking about Delhi has currently a population of 1.25 crore people. So, and they made a master plan or a vision document for the year 2031 they're talking about now. And they're saying that we are going to house as much population as the current population of Delhi, 1.25 crores, in a vast tract of land which is lying vacant next to Delhi, within Delhi,
Right.
which is coming in the land pooling policy. And an equal number of people will be housed in the existing development of Delhi through re-densification. So the land which is already urbanized is also not efficiently utilized. Delhi's population can be accommodated in the area which is already developed by just increasing FAR and increasing density. I do not think there is a shortage of land at all. 2.75% or 35% of the total country's land to be used as urban areas is not large by any stretch of the imagination. In countries like Japan or Netherlands or Belgium, it is as much as 15%. So even 1% increase in the area of land which is
Usable
used for
urban land, right.
usable urban land, and that will increase the urban land by 50%. From 2.35 it can go to 3.5, and that will be enough to house all our population.
Shailesh Puranik, are we creating artificial shortage of land in this country? Is that the sense that I'm getting? And that's being done for some reasons?
Absolutely, I agree. I don't know whether it's done for reason or not. But one thing I must share here, whatever land problem we have in India are all created land problems. We can go vertical, we can go horizontal, we can go either ways, and there won't be any problem. We are not Mauritius that we can't go horizontal. We are a huge country. As you said, only 2% or odd percent is being utilized. So create one transport corridor and one entire hinterland will open up, and which will take care of the entire city's problem or the problems of surrounding. You increase FAR, the problems are also solved. You don't have to spend on infrastructure so much, and still in the heart of the city or in the central area you can build as much as you want, and then again your problems are addressed too. So everything is artificially created. I will not say that the problems are created by someone, a particular individual or a particular community or whatever it is, but I think it is a systemic problem. So I don't think we have any problem of land availability in India. Even in cities we have so much of land locked up, be it CRZ, be it in Mumbai port trust land or many other government lands, or lot of land which are covered under zoning regulation, agricultural zoning regulation inside cities. So many things. You just change one denominator, one factor, and your problem for that city will be addressed. In cities like Mumbai or NCR, MMR region is so big, NCR region is so big, you just put up one train, one good road to reach to the 25 kilometer or 30 kilometer periphery of the city,
Okay.
or even more, and then your problems are solved.
Okay. It looks fairly simple in this, drawing room discussion, I would say, or studio discussion, Samarjeet, but is it that simple? I mean, we've now got a land pooling policy in Delhi, in NCR, which is expected to release a lot of land, but do you think it's going to solve the problems? Because whatever I see, the government tends to control most of the land, and by the time policies change and there is a policy to bring in more land, it's already lagging behind what is required by many years.
You know, Manisha, we've looked at this quite in depth, and we found that one of the biggest issues is that there is such a lack of urban infrastructure. that there is this chase of land which is connected to infrastructure. And the moment that infrastructure is there, then the land around that becomes valuable and there becomes an artificial land scarcity, which is actually infrastructure scarcity. So if we were to have a national infrastructure policy where there was to be
That's an interesting
inclusive
point.
development,
Not have a national land policy,
but a
which
national
is al-
infrastructure policy which has inclusive development across states and across jurisdictions. You open up land parcels to development that are locked away completely. So rather than look at this hodgepodge, piecemeal, state government, central government, all of that, if there was a national roads policy that covers, not just the highways, but overall development, you'll find that the amount of land available where developers would like to go and develop will increase so much that this whole hue and cry about land will go away. It is parcels
Mayank,
of
would
land
you
that are
agree with
hyper
that?
valuable and then parcels of land that have
That's
no
a-
value at all.
That's an interesting point of view. I mean, you can grow horizontally. There is no scarcity of land per se. There's scarcity of land around the right infrastructure which can make your living possible.
So definitely true. If you look at it in our country itself, there have been these success stories. So you look at Hyderabad, a particular case and study, where the infrastructure which was done in that city and relaxing the FAR to be unlimited has really changed the story on the land pricing in that city and also on the other real estate pricing in that city. So if you look at the Hyderabad prices post 2007 have been half of what it used to be in 2000 peaks of 2007, and they have not gone up beyond that. So today also, if you want to buy a decent
My
good
God, so you're
residential,
saying
you can still go and buy
that's one way of keeping home prices rational
And a
and
check.
affordable, by just ensuring that there is great infrastructure. Sameer, what's your point of view? I mean, everybody is really added to an interesting dimension on the supposed land scarcity in this country.
So I have another dimension to add,
Wonderful.
which nobody's spoken about. I think the biggest challenge is affordability. So if you look at it, our inventory overhang figures are going up, up and up. The oversupply situation in the markets across country, except even in Mumbai, for example, is going higher and higher. So one thing that is clearly coming out is that there is no land scarcity whatsoever. The problem there is that the pricing of that land is so expensive because it comes
So
with
there's
the
no
urban
scarcity.
infrastructure.
Why is the pricing going crazy?
Because of the fact that that infrastructure that needs to be created, and it's not just road connectivity, it is social infrastructure, it is physical infrastructure, it is to create a whole livable environment. Like,
But would the starting point not be physical infrastructure? Because everything else will come up then.
even if you get physical infrastructure, if there is no employment generation opportunity over there, Greater Noida being a prime example of that case,
Okay.
you have the best physical infrastructure probably the country has, and there is no pricing going up, there is no artificial scarcity whatsoever because there is no employment generation that is happening. So really speaking, employment generation is the number one reason, first of all, to create the demand.
Okay.
And also the demand should be able to afford the supply. The supply is unaffordable.
My goodness. Okay, that is another angle to it. But let's take a very quick short break and come back and figure out then. I mean, I think infrastructure and getting infrastructure on track is a big problem. While that happens, and we know how dismal the country's record has been in terms of getting the infrastructure in place, what will developers do and what will home buyers do? How do they ensure that they get more affordable homes, and how do developers ensure that they don't run out of land banks? Because remember, there are few who are sitting on so much land that they perhaps need to lighten their portfolios. They become so debt heavy because of the spree of land buying that they went into. There is another lot which is constantly struggling, finding partners for joint developments, and of course trying to handle multiple relationships and going on the asset light model. Which of these is the way to go forward and will work before and by the time India changes and gets its infrastructure in place? Land, always an interesting subject. Come back to this realty debate.